So to understand the pipeline, or this is one of the use case, you will go and create multiple pipelines in multiple places. So what you have to do is to understand what is happening. First, let's go back and see what we were doing till now. We were going ahead creating a VPC, subnet, internet gateway, route tables, security group, bucket to store the data, policy for the access, and finally the notebook. Once we created the notebook, we were copying the code, which was my train.py inside the specific notebook. The bucket was already there over there. So what was happening was the information or this specific file from the bucket was getting downloaded to my specific local SageMaker instance, which was actually going creating the specific training script. And basically it was running the specific skikit learn. After that, internally only it was going ahead and creating the specific endpoint. And once the endpoint was getting created, it was also basically running and deploying that specific endpoint over here. And then it was also testing if everything is fine. So this is what we were doing. The thing is, next time, if we have to go and where was it running inside the SageMaker? So consider this. Next time, if we have to go and run SageMaker, again, I have to go inside SageMaker, Python, app.py, or whatever this Python train.py I have to do. And again, go and get this specific file, put it over there. Or it can be inside S3 bucket, go and do AWS S3 CP on that file, Python train.py inside SageMaker, and then endpoint will be created. Think about it from a engineer's perspective. If I am an AI engineer, I have to ensure that the moment a new data set is deployed, I want all of these things to run on its own. Now, by the way, what has to run on its own? First thing is it should automatically go and create SageMaker. SageMaker is anyhow there. I don't have to do. S3 bucket is already there. The thing I want is the moment any update happens inside the specific repository, at that point of time, inside that specific repository, it should automatically go pick up the specific file, error underscore logs.csv, read, deploy skikit, and create the specific endpoints. All of these things should happen on its own. And more than that, why do I need to have this train.py over here? This anyhow I know is already present in my repository over here. So let's take this here and here. So anyhow, I know my code is already present inside my train and deploy.py. Anyhow, my data is also present inside errorlog CSV. So why will I even provide these files? I will go and tell my pipeline that see, go to this repository, automatically pick up the file train deploy.py, run it, automatically download the data from errorlog CSV, use it. So basically, whatever is running over here, you go and run these things inside my SageMaker instance. This, what I was doing manually, I want these things to be done automatically. One. Next part is if I am going and telling pipeline that go and do all of these things, first problem is how will my AWS code pipeline actually interact with my specific GitHub repository over here? By the way, this pipeline, everything got executed, means almost executed. The pipeline also would be created, but it would have failed over here. Why? It failed 4 months ago. First time it will always fail. We will come to that, why it is like that. And if required, you can basically fix it from next time, but first time it will always fail. Why? Now coming back to the repository. So what is happening inside the repository? The moment there is any update inside this specific repository, ideally my code pipeline should run. So first thing, somehow my repo or repository is communicating with my AWS code pipeline. By the way, what is code pipeline? Nothing. Just think of it like an instance, basic instance where it will go and do the same things that you were doing. First, it will go and get the code. Second, it will run the basic commands. Third, whatever Python app.py or whatever you give inside SageMaker, instead of you going and doing it, it is going to go and tell SageMaker to perform this. In AWS, it is even better because everything is dependent on a role and each service can call another service. So it becomes easy to do all of that. Any which ways, the moment I make an update in my specific repository, it should automatically go and trigger my pipeline. The thing is, how will my repository actually go and tell AWS Code Pipeline that any update is there? Now, there are two ways to do it. First is go to settings over here. Inside this, you are going to find the specific webhooks. Go to webhooks, go to add webhook, and over here, inside the specific webhook, go and tell that do a thing. If there is any update, go and send the data to this specific URL. This is one way to do it. The problem here is I have to go create the URL, create the server, then I have to read the data, I have to worry about the security of the data and so on. By the way, those of you who are in DevOps, your DevOps trainer would be telling you about this webhooks also. So you don't have to worry. So at that point of time, old days, Jenkins, webhooks, we used to use a lot. The only tragedy, as you would have understood, GitHub has to call Jenkins. How do I manage the secret? What will it call? How will it call? All those things will happen. Instead of this, AWS now has another way to manage this. And not only AWS, generally all the repositories or providers will have this. This thing is known as an agent. Basically, AWS will deploy a agent which will go and just watch your specific repo. The moment there is an update to the repo, first agent will go and trigger the pipeline automatically. And because it is triggering the pipeline, it will automatically go and trigger the same or get the latest code from that specific repo. So this part agent is going to do on its own. The thing is, how will agent know if GitHub update in the repository is happening or not? See, it is not that difficult. You also, if you go and click on my repository on my name, you click on repository, it is telling you, yes, update did happen 7 hours ago. So basically go to that and you know that, okay, something was triggered. But this is you sporadic going and looking into the changes. I want that thing to happen in an instant. The moment I do it, it should automatically trigger the pipeline. So these things can be done via agents, which would be listening to this repository at real time. And not only listening, if in case any trigger is there, it will automatically go and tell the pipeline. The important thing, why and how will agent actually know if any update is there? GitHub is a private thing. Why will GitHub go and tell any external agent that I made a update? So for that, AWS has something known as the connections. Right now, this connection is in pending state. So for that reason, the pipeline failed. Ideally, what you can do is you go click on create connection. These are the possible ways: GitHub, GitHub server, GitLab, GitLab subpanel. Assuming you go with GitHub, you go and give a name, you click on connect to GitHub. Then it will open up a new page where it will open up your GitHub access. Go and give your ID and password, and the connection has been created. In our case, we because are doing everything using Terraform. So Terraform can do everything. It can go and create, but one thing you have to do, select update pending connection. It will go and open up in a new uh, pop-up. It's just not going here. You just have to go select, or if it is not there, just click on install a new app for the first time. It will go and open up a browser. In that, it will go and open up your GitHub page. You go and give your ID and password. App will be installed. And next time, you just have to go and select this specific connection and click on connect. If that is there, the connectivity with your specific GitHub is created. Now, if you go and make any update to this specific repository, like let's say I am going and making it at line number 100, like let's say one here. The moment I make an update over here, it is done now. Now, okay. This pipeline would have automatically triggered. You see, I will not do anything. The pipeline will automatically run. Here, pipeline in progress will take its own sweet time, but eventually everything will get deployed. How to verify? To verify, if everything I was doing correctly, actually, it would have gone ahead and created an endpoint. Endpoint is not there right now because first time the pipeline failed. But by the way, why did it fail? Because first time the connection was created, I had to go and update it. No? For that reason, it failed. Now, there are two ways to fix it. Either you know that first time the pipeline will always fail, that is fine. Or second, instead of creating a connection that I created over there, no, you go and use a data block in Terraform. You only go and create a connection, use a data block, use it inside your code next time so it will not fail. But the problem with that approach is that let's say you are doing it in a new environment and someone goes and forgets to do that manually. Right. So in that case, it will fail. It will never work only. So what we do is we do it like this. We know that the update connection is pending. That we will go and do manually. So two options, either use a data block, it will run each time, but maybe if I forget to go and manually do it in that new AWS account, it will fail. Or using this, the first time you go ahead and, because this is not running the pipeline, this is just creating the pipeline. So first time while creating the pipeline, it will automatically trigger and it will fail. However, next time onwards, it will always run. Those of you who have decent experience in IT would have seen pipelines where it will say that first time while creating it will fail. It is because of reasons like this. Because while creating the pipeline, I have to trigger few things. Those few things I don't have. So for that reason, it's going to fail. Any which is going back, if you see the pipeline now shortly, in some time, it should automatically run. And the proof of it would be that endpoint over here, which was not created, will now start to get created. By the way, Terraform configuration would all be done. So I don't have any issues with that. Let it run somewhat. If you want to see what actually is happening inside the pipeline, you can always go click on the specific stage. And here, all the logs will start to show. This, by the way, is your SageMaker jobs or activities which are running. So basically, running Python and then getting SageMaker, and then it is creating a training job by this name, and then it is downloading the input data, and this input data it is getting it from GitHub, and then it will train, and then it will go and create the specific endpoint. Let it happen. We want to see it happen. While that is happening, let's go and talk about other things. First, over here inside this PR that you did, good job. I wanted the PR. The only thing is, if you go and have a look inside this specific code that I have, because in my case, everything is CSV. So I want it as a string. So if you see, no, double quotes beginning, double quotes ending, double quotes beginning, double quotes ending. So I want that. So I hope you will do this and then you will go and raise the PR again. In this case, what I saw was it is all without double quotes, right? So it's not going to work for me. I want that particular thing also. This specific line is missing, I believe, when you were doing it. So this is what your code is, error message and recommended action. Again, see, because inside my code over here, no, okay, I'll show. I have X and Y. X is error underscore message. Exactly, it has to match this. Error underscore message, all small. Recommended action, all in small, because my X and Y is based on that. And if you see over here in my one, error underscore message and recommended action, all in small. And because it is CSV, all is string. So double quote, double quote. Same thing I want over here also. Okay, so E is small, R is small, double quotes, and then, no, here no double quotes, like all small over here, double quotes, double quotes, double quotes, and double quotes. And that should be good for me if you do this. And in my case, I have given it like this error, but that's fine if you means this way is even better what you have given me, because if you just go and send with a specific data, I have the specific response. I don't always have to hard code error colon space. So this data is good, but I believe you will go and fix it, raise another PR. and we will merge it. And any other pipeline is there, so pipeline will automatically trigger. Any which ways, while we were doing it, here training job started because it says no GPU detected, and reported training is success, which means almost by now endpoint should be started to get created. Endpoint over here is created. That's your specific endpoint. And it will take its time because it has only trained it. Endpoints will happen eventually in some time over here. While we are over here, now let's go and understand what did we do inside the pipeline. And this apparently is the only important thing for you right now. This part actually takes time. The policy means when I was also doing it, I'll show you. This I have done actually inside, just a minute. Okay, cool. So this I have actually done inside GitHub Action. Inside code pipeline, I never did. So yesterday when I was doing it once, so it gave multiple errors. So inside the pipeline also, like this anyhow to will show you our pipeline only. The second one is running, but if you go to code build over here and you go to build history, let's say, like for me also when, like I always say when I start, somewhere 8 hours ago I started and somewhere in 1 hour I was able to fix it. Click over here and it will tell you the exact time. 1 a.m. in the night I started and somewhere at 2:10 a.m. basically means at 1:47 only it was successful. I just did one more run at 2:10 a.m. finally to confirm everything is fine and it was running. Now multiple errors were there. So just pay attention on the errors. That is what they are asking in the interviews. Most of the errors were related to the permission issue only. First one over here, it said the create bucket action, no identity policy was there. So obviously, inside this, I would have gone ahead and given this access of create bucket. Okay. Next time, last was SageMaker, I remember. Here, it did not do it because head object was not there. Huh. This was interesting. So what was happening was, and the same thing I have updated inside my here only pipeline.tf. I created a script over here, this one. And this error actually happened multiple times. It took time for me to understand. I thought that maybe it is saying head object not found, so maybe it is a problem with the bucket. In one case, it was with the bucket, but then it was not always like that. I'll show you here and then so once that was done, the pass role access was not there, so obviously I went ahead and gave it this pass role. I will tell you all the errors because I'll anyhow explain you the pipeline, no? So don't worry about it, but just look at what are the errors that you will see while you are deploying it. So here once I did, then it told me logging is not there, so obviously I went ahead and added this describe log stream over there. And once that was done, Hmm. last error was this also policy only, I believe. Uh, Here everything was done, and then it gave me a error cannot create already existing configuration. Last error. The reason was this specific endpoint was already created, so it gave me error. And once that was resolved, after that eventually both of them actually ran. And anyhow, while we were talking, this pipeline also ran. Now, very quickly, just to test that everything is running or not, let's go to the endpoint over here. This and copy and inside my test.py here. Let's go and update done and let's run it once. And once it is there, then we will understand what changes we did. Python test.py. I gave the specific error and it gave me the response validate order parameters, which means I would have given it something like whatever the specific error given by UPI, right? Or let's say something like uh, error user, let's say RAM is unable to go and run it again, and it will obviously go and say user must re-authenticate. Okay, fine. Everything is running. Good for us. Now, assuming if I go and make a change. Now, you have already seen, but one last time, let's go and again change something over here. Now, change can happen at any level. Any of these files you go and trigger, it will run. Uh, but most of the time, it would be this specific file only. Now, if you say that no, my file is different, that is different, no worries. Your data would be inside a repository. Go and create that, and inside the link of the repository, inside your TF vars, just go and give that repository and go and give that a specific branch. So it will automatically happen. Okay, so let me just go and ensure the data is proper. Okay, so while this I executed, automatically you understand by now the pipeline would have automatically triggered. And then once it triggers over here, automatically the endpoint obviously will get updated. So how did I do all of this? Let's start. Now, this I used to do via GitHub Actions. Depends. You can do it GitHub Action, you can do it GitLab, but most of the time nowadays it is done with AWS Code Pipeline. In this case, we call it as a data pipeline because we are working with the ML libraries. So how these things are done? Let's go and fix that. Okay, so here, this one, it's running. Click. My recommendation would be whenever the pipeline is running, the initial 2, 3 times you only have to go and see. Just go and click and see the steps that are happening. So it will take its own sweet time because now it has to go and deploy, get the code here, this, and read. Okay, it is copying the data. Good. This one, what happened? What was happening? This is important. I will tell you about it. So let's first talk about the file pipeline.tf. This one you already know, main.tf, VPC, subnet, internet, route, route table, gateway, security group, bucket. Here also, bucket name actually, if you see from yesterday, I have changed it actually. So it is no more hyphen hex hyphen that. Why it is like that, we'll tell you. I'll tell you shortly. And then the public access block and SageMaker and resources are there. Now, first problem, why did I change this? You see over here inside the bucket and inside my code over here, train.py. If you remember yesterday's code, the specific bucket name I had to put it, no, SageMaker logs, POC logs, and hyphen some random ID was coming. What I told you there, if you are working as a single inside SageMaker, it is fine. You can always go to TF state and you can get it. See, SageMaker log, POC log, this bucket name too I know. Hyphen after that, whatever is there, I don't know. So where will I find it? So first Terraform has to run and whatever it is running, it has to go and update it inside this specific bucket. Manually, that thing has to be done. Now, two options are there. If this pipeline is running, I don't have any control whatsoever on the specific file, bucket, time, nothing. It will trigger, it will run automatically. So I don't have any way where I can go and update this specific bucket name. Hyphen some random ID is coming. I am not going inside the code and doing because it is creating and then it is doing. While creating, I don't know only what the name would be. So two options are there. Either you go and put the name of the bucket, basically what it's going to be. Same inside Terraform over here. This part, same inside your Terraform over here, and same inside your code over here, and it will never create a problem for you. Okay. For that reason, you would see in your companies or wherever people are doing, they would actually go and do it based on this only. They will always go give the specific name that is named on the specific variable, so you don't have to worry. That is one option. Second option is if you don't want to do it, fine, go and use a data block and that specific data block inside your Python inside this code. You go anyhow, Boto3 is there. From Boto3, you go and get the name of the bucket depending on the tags. And once that is there, that you can go and hard code over here or you can go and put over here. Two options are there. First option generally is the one that I told you where the name of the bucket is there. Now, multiple buckets are there, no worries. Generally, what you would do is over here, you will go and put hyphen name of the environment like dev, SIT, SAT, prod, pre-prod, like that. So this is one of the things that I had changed inside my train.py first. Second thing, same problem like this also is happening when I am creating the pipeline. So if you remember, inside this specific pipeline, uh, okay, it is still doing fine. So inside this pipeline, actually the name is coming like hyphen something over here. So that was creating a problem that we will go and talk about inside our pipeline.tf. Let's start with this. Before that, main.tf, everything is the same. Train.py, everything is the same. Only thing is bucket name actually. You just have to pay attention to that. And now pipeline.tf. What is happening? It's pretty straightforward only, to be honest. Most of the things are the policy. And this policy, I also did an error when I was doing it. I showed you. Here, the code build policy access. Now, easiest way to do this is go and put a star. Effect as allow, resource as start, action as star. The moment you put star, this policy from 114 to 193, which is what 79 lines, will only become 3 lines. Easiest way. Go and give admin access, go and give all the access. Perfect. It is not a problem in your company, is almost sure people would be doing that only. Because see, if someone is giving you work, you don't have time, basically like what I did, one by one, go, it will give a error, fix it, give a error, fix it. Everyone needs a shortcut. They just need the code. They will get the code and they will do it. If they don't get, they will go and put a star. In our case, basically, this is known as the least privilege. Okay, so don't give access to the things which is not required. So least privilege policy. Basically, I work on that. So I have time, I will go, it gives error, I will add that. And you have already seen also, you don't have to worry also that much. Exactly line by line, it will tell you what exact policy actually failed. Okay, because of which specific policy, which specific action it failed. Go and put that action, pretty easy. Done. Don't want to do it, go and put a star over there. So in this one, most of the code is my specific build only. Rest everything though is tags and this deployment. Okay, fine. While it is happening, let's go back to endpoint creating. Fine. While that is happening, let me go and delete this previous endpoint or else AWS will charge me. It is working on M5 X large. I don't want that. Now let's go and talk about this, and that's pretty much it. Just 300 lines. Most of it is tags only. First, I have to go and create a connection, which I am creating a connection by name of gh-con. Now, this one actually here, Sagemaker. Here inside settings, I have connection, and I am naming it as whatever it is -gh-con. Okay, and this first time, if you remember, you have to go and approve it. Until you do Terraform destroy, you don't have to worry. Or for this specific one, you can go and use a data block actually. Here, this part, go and use a data block like I am creating, or you go and use it. So this, so there, what you have to do is you just have to go and give the ARN. ARN, so anyhow, you will get it from this part. So go and create it and then you can use it as ARN. That is also a way. Then inside the connection, wherever you would be doing this connection, here you just have to put data dot, and here also you have to put data dot, and that's it. And this part, these 3 lines will get replaced by these line, and here go and give the ARN. That is another way. In that case, first time also pipeline will not fail. But the problem, someone has to go here, this create connection, click on GitHub, give a name to it, connect, and then like, let me show you here, and then click over here and this. Don't want to do miss, and this you have to do only if first time it is not working, then click on install a new app. It will go, and then you see from internal to AWS only, it has automatically gone ahead and created, or it has connected to GitHub. So that is another way. So first time you will have to do this, install a new app. In my case, because I have created it long time back, so the connection is already there. So any which ways, you go and create a resource. This one new error I figured out yesterday. Earlier I was naming it like hyphen GitHub hyphen connection. It errored out. It said maximum length is 32 or 48. Something was there. So basically, what was happening was this was becoming like SageMaker hyphen logs hyphen POC hyphen GitHub hyphen connection. Length was exceeding. AWS was erroring out. So for that reason, I named it as gh-con. And then I am telling it is GitHub, that's fine. Once that is there, I have to go and work on my pipeline. Pipeline would be storing the data. Data would be inside my specific S3 bucket. S3 bucket, basically, whatever name you are giving, it will go and create a bucket by that name using this. Now, I have also added yesterday something as force underscore destroy. I forgot. Same thing I have done here also. Inside my specific bucket, force underscore destroy equal to true. Why yesterday, if you remember, we had to go first empty the bucket. So go type permanently delete, then do terraform destroy. So I told you that you should go and do this. So if you were not doing it then, at least you know it now. If you go and put force underscore destroy equal to true, it doesn't matter if data is there or not, it will automatically go and destroy. Next, basically, is to go and straight away block the bucket. This we know also. We have done it here also inside our bucket, public access. So we want to go and block everything. This, by the way, was asked to one of the person recently. How do you go and block the access? Go and write it. Once that is there, I have to go and work with code pipeline. So I'm creating a rule for it. And code pipeline itself will go and work on multiple things. So it will go and work on the bucket. It will go and get the versioning. It will update the data. And code pipeline itself would be working on the specific bucket and code pipeline itself along with the connection. So that access I have given over here. Next is once the policy is there, I have to go and create the attachment. And once that is there, whatever role is there, using the specific attachment and the policy that you have created, I will just go and attach it to my specific code build. And then comes the code build policy. Code build policy basically will understand it below inside the stages what it is doing. In short, whatever you were doing, no, getting the data, segregating the data, calling your specific SageMaker, it would be running some specific command that would be via code build. So that actual training will happen from code build only. So in that case, inside the code build, I have gone and given access. Easiest option is to go and put a star over here. So if you just go and replace it with the star, nothing else you have to do. All this drama below you don't have to do. I don't do that. So I have gone ahead and added all the policies over here. Once that is there, you just go and attach it to your specific code build. And now comes your actual pipeline, which is going to go and do the job for you. First thing, you are telling that I am working on Linux, where I am creating this instance of Amazon Linux 2. Now, this part, if you want, actually, you can do it from here also. If you go and do it once manually via code pipeline, here, create pipeline. How do you want to do? What do you want to do? Deploy to AWS. I want to do integration, automation, or I want to build a custom pipeline. In your case, it would be custom pipeline. Click on next, go and create role. Now, all these roles that you are seeing, no, this is the roles that you are creating here. Code pipeline policy, code pipeline rule. Okay, so what happens is people will do it from browser and browser will automatically do it for you. But in Terraform, we go and create because it has to be done only once. So any which ways inside that, I am going and creating a machine, which is this specific machine. Just like SageMaker needs a instance to run notebooks, my pipeline itself will run an instance to run. So there I am saying I would be creating this machine and I would be having what it's going to do is first this. First, it will go and install this pip install Boto3, Pandas, Skikitlearn, and SageMaker. This, if you remember, I told you here also inside train.py that I have to go and install SageMaker, Boto3, Panda, and all these things, Skikitlearn. Now, this I am doing it because, see, if I am doing it inside SageMaker, everything is pre-installed. Here I am doing it inside pipeline and then SageMaker. So just to be on the safer side, I am just adding it. So I would recommend you go and remove this command over here and try it out. Might work, might not work. So on the safe side, I always go and install it. Same thing we did there also, same thing we did here also. Then what did we do next yesterday? We copied the file, same thing I gave here also. Copy the file, this file error log CSV. Where is error log CSV? From my specific repository. Copy it to the specific bucket inside this location. Done. Now this one is important. What actually happened? So here what was happening was role it was not getting. So SageMaker has to go now. SageMaker has to go to GitHub to get the specific file. It needs access. Access means role. So SageMaker will not get it. Actually, your connection will get it here. But SageMaker has to connect to connection. So for that reason, this lining added SageMaker dot get execution role and go and get the role and get the file. Second thing is ensure that if you are creating an endpoint, the name has to be always log error endpoint hyphen year, month, date, hour, month, second. So I'm creating it in this way. For that reason, inside your endpoint also you would see it like that 20250504 and time right now inside my specific pipeline would be time in UTC. So it is 03:59:56. Okay, so that I am creating it in that way. And then normal things, go and create the file train and deploy.py. And then inside SageMaker, what was I doing? I was going and running this command, no, Python train and deploy.py. Done. Same thing. And then if you want, you can go and echo that, okay, everything is completed. And it will go and create these files. Error logs means it will create error log CSV, train and deploy.py. This I need and train underscore script. Train underscore script, I don't have any. Okay, means you can remove this also. Train underscore. I should have kept test.py. I kept train. But the thing is, because I am never using this test.py, it is inside my local, so it doesn't impact me. So here, if you want, you can remove it also. If you want, you can go and put test.py also. Okay. So that's it. Whatever I was doing manually, pip install, AWS S3 CP, Python train and deploy.py, same thing. I am doing it inside the pipeline. So pipeline is doing all these things on my behalf. And the next thing is whatever the specific data is there, if you remember inside my S3 also, data was automatically being kept inside S3 inside the bucket. No, same thing I am saying here also. Let's see whatever the specific SageMaker pipeline is there, whatever the logs are there, go and put it inside that specific zip and go and add it. That's pretty much it. So what is happening is this pipeline automatically is going and triggering and inside the specific trigger, it is actually going and creating the specific artifact and it is adding now this part I have added. If you want, you can remove it also. In my case, because I was not putting code underscore zip, it was giving an error because I was directly uploading the model zip file. Code, my pipeline was unable to understand. So I told it that, okay, this file which you are seeing, no, which you don't understand, the code lib file, that is actually a zip file. So after that, it started to upload. That's pretty much it. Once it is done, it will go and deploy it. The concept now is you go and do a Terraform init, validate, plan, apply, creates a connection, creates the pipeline. The most important thing inside the pipeline is it will go and do star. So basically, it will go and give the specific permissions. It will go and run the specific commands inside SageMaker. And the moment you go and do a update inside any of the files now, can go and do it anywhere over here. It will go and run. The important thing, um, this is specific repository, GitHub repo, if you see here. So whatever the specific code I am getting it from this specific repository. So this part, if you want, you can hard code it. Me, instead of hard coding it, I kept it inside the variables. And that variables actually I am getting it from terraform.tfs. So this is the repository, not complete HTTPS and whatever that is there. This is the repository. This is the specific branch and project name to anyhow we were using it yesterday also. Done. That's your code pipeline or data pipeline. Next time, like you have seen also, if you go ahead and make any update inside any of this, so next time what will happen is, huh, You say I want to do it inside a new branch, then that part you will have to change. So that is how it runs also. You will have dev.tfr, sit.tfr, sat.tfr, pre-prod tfr, prod tfr. The only thing that will change is inside prod tfr, the main branch will be prod main only. In pre-prod, branch name will be pre-prod. In sit, it will be sit. In sat, it will be sat. Then it will go and create those corresponding branches, and it will get the code at runtime, and it will go and run the specific pipeline, and after that it will go and create the specific endpoint which you see over here also, and done. And now if you want to test it out here, mm, done. Okay, and done is let's say something else. Okay, I said TP login. Order actually will go and give different thing if you remember, because order I trained it on something else, no, so for that reason it says that go and validate the order parameters. So that's it. Basically, the pipeline creation means if you do it via Terraform, then it is very easy because everything is present. The only problem, let me just go and delete everything first because it is running on X large instances, so that will charge me elsewise. Fine. The only thing is endpoints will not get deleted by Terraform. Why? Because Terraform is not creating the endpoints, right? That is getting created by your SageMaker. So this part you have to go and do it manually. Just keep that in mind that you have to do. And then the inference also go and delete it and the specific configuration. This part manually has to be done. The rest everything to SageMaker, pipeline, everything will happen on its own. You don't have to worry about it. And then obviously next time if I run it again, the connection, that drama will happen, right? Pending connection. So if I run it, pending connection, do it. So for you, please remember inside this, the specific agent you have to install. So first time you create a connection, let's say this here, this app agent, whatever you earlier they used to call it agent, now it is app. So this part you have to click. The moment you click over here, it will directly open the page of GitHub. Go and give the ID and the password and done. One time you have to do. Okay, and next time you do it will fail, so obviously you have to, means it is not important it fails. The moment it is getting created, you do Terraform apply, you stay on this page, you keep on refreshing. The moment you see, click update, go from the drop down, select done, it will work. Then it is not a problem. Means because it is pipeline is multiple stages. No, first it is getting SageMaker, then it is getting the code, so it depends. If you can do it very fast, good for you, it will run. If you cannot do, then a problem. So that depends on how fast you do, but eventually let it be like that. Wait for some time, go and create the connection. Next time, anyhow, once you go and make an update, it's going to run, so it will not be a problem. So that's the concept of AWS data pipeline. Now, once I go and tell you about random forest and I go and create the repo for random forest, I won't go and do this thing because I will assume that you understand everything. And s- at that point of time, the only thing that you have to do is actually two things. Uh, it will, one thing will change only in random forest. Here, TF where this repository name will change. In my case, this and alike will remain the same. This will become different, so that you will have to change. And if in random forest, in my case, it would be notebook, so it shouldn't be a problem. But if it is not, it means if you are updating anything, then this part will change actually. The commands. If you are running something new in SageMaker, same has to be get updated in pipeline also. So in that case, inside the pipeline, you will just go and update this. One thing will also be there. In random forest, you need more libraries also actually, no? So In that case, above, if you go where we were installing the specific dependencies here, pip install boto 3 pandas, scikit-learn, and sagemaker. Along with this, whatever new libraries you need, you will go and add those libraries also over here, numpy and all. So space numpy space all. So I want to go and tell you again that I will directly do inside my sagemaker instance only, but I will expect the same thing you can go and repeat here. Most important thing, pipeline will almost remain the same. The only thing that changes is this. So whatever you are running inside SageMaker, 1, 2, this will also be same if you are putting endpoint. If not putting endpoint, remove it. And 3, this will change. Rest everything is the same. While you are testing it, go and remove this. I don't think I don't need this only. If you want, you can go and put test.py. I was thinking that I will do this test.py over there also to run it, but I forgot that inside my train.py only, I have actually created a step which automatically tests it. No, so I don't need test.py. And more than that, the name also I have given wrong actually, train underscore script.py. Now it is not a problem because I am saying that see these files will be created. I am just telling you well in advance. If it is created, good. If not created, even better. So pipeline doesn't have any issue. Okay, it's the same thing you did over here, it would have given you an error, this file, because it expects the file. Here I am saying that see, result of this would be these files. So even if it is not created, pipeline is all good. Fine. Okay, so that's about pipeline. Go complete this. While you are doing this, you will obviously go and point it to your repo and not my repo. Because if you point it to my repo, it will never work only. My repo is private. Okay, access has to be given. So you will go create your repo with all of these codes. Those of you who have the access, even easier, go fork the code, run it. Elsewise, it will fail. You don't have access to my repository. Then once that is there, next part, go and update the specific data, error underscore logs.csv, and pipeline should run. Before that, pipeline connection app has to be installed, application one. And first time the pipeline is going to fail, and after that it's going to run. Once everything is done, no, I would recommend you let the connection be as it is and then use the data block for your specific connection. So last thing that you can do, and if this is done, that is your data pipeline. Side note, companies are still not using it. They are still saying, have what have you done? And all of this, they are generally doing it via complex lambda functions when it can very easily be done using pipeline. Please tell this project as it is in the interviews. They will say, what have you done? AI, you will say, I created Skikit pipeline. In short, any update in any of the data, pipeline will automatically run, create the endpoint, deploy the endpoint. This project as it is goes in your resume and in your interviews also. Please practice it 4 to 6 times at least. They might ask you to do this, and this in itself might alone get you a job. SageMaker you already know, Python you have already done, AWS services you have done, Terraform you have created, finally pipeline complete end-to-end integration you have done. This project, tell in the interviews, most of the time, what most, they would have not done only this in their company. Everyone does it the manual way. That is why in the interviews they will ask you a lot about CLI commands. If you are giving AI interview, no, tell me CLI, because they expect you to, means what they are also doing is they are also doing all of these things here. AWS S3 here, AWS S3 CP, AWS S3 LS, sync and all. In your case, you don't need it because you are just doing it once and then everything is running on its own. But please use this. All the possible scenarios that I have told you, run it multiple times and do it. In the next class, we will talk about random forest, one of the most basic and used algorithms. Companies will never use random forest because training of random forest is very hard. Reason is name itself is telling you I have all the information in the world. I just want to go and train it on specific data. So instead of doing it on specific data, why to use random forest then? Use something as skikit, go and put or create your own data and train it. So no one uses random forest, but in case you want a future in another 5 to 10 years in AI, random forest is the only algorithm that you should be using. I started using it back in 2014 and 15 when I got introduced to AI actually. So random forest was the first algorithm that I ever learned. And it is still being means it will anyhow be still be used. There are six algorithms in AI which are actually used. Six most basic fundamental models, algorithms. Random forest is one of them. We'll talk about it next week. Any questions if you have, you can ask now.